Hey guys, in this video I am going to discuss the notation quantum physicists use in quantum mechanics. My name is Saptoshi and you are watching Cosmos Unveiled. First of all, the wave function is a vector, but it's a little bit different from the ones which we learned in school. The vectors which we learned in school are in the known three-dimensional vector space, but the wave function is a vector in an infinite-dimensional abstract mathematical vector space known as Hilbert space. In this video, whenever I have to take the reference of the vectors which we learned in school, I will use the term three vectors. First of all, keep this in mind that if we say a force which is a three vector is acting in the upward direction, there can be an infinite number of possibilities of such kind of forces. But we only want that specific force vector with a specific magnitude which acts on this specific body through its center of mass. Then we have to specify the coordinates of the center of mass. Without specification of at least one point on its line of action, a vector is simply meaningless, as it will only give us the direction and magnitude of the vector, but not the specific points on which it is acting. Now, if we want to represent a three vector, we use three orthogonal bases or unit vectors, one along x-axis I cap, one along y j cap, and one along z k cap. You can think of a vector as an arrow pointing from an initial point to a final point in a coordinate system. For our convenience, we take the origin as our initial point. Now you can represent a three vector u vector equals u1 I cap plus u2 j cap plus u3 k cap, where magnitudes of I cap, j cap and k cap are 1 each. Now we are diving into matrix mechanics. From now on, we are not going to represent the basis vectors as I cap, j cap and k cap. We are going to represent them as column matrices with one entry equals to 1 and all other entries equal to 0, where number of rows equals to number of dimensions. From now on, if we want to represent a three vector, say vector u, then vector u equals a column matrix with entries equal to u1, u2 and u3. Now, to represent a vector in Hilbert space with n number of dimensions, we have to write a column matrix with n number of rows. Another thing to note that in case of three vectors, the coefficients of the basis vectors are strictly real numbers, but in case of quantum mechanics, the coefficients of basis vectors are complex numbers. Now, a column vector in quantum mechanics is called a kette vector and is represented by a straight line on the left and an angled or pointed bracket on the right. Another kind of vectors which you will come across in quantum mechanics are bra vectors, which are vectors represented in row matrices. They are represented by an angled bracket on the left and a straight line on the right. Now let's take a kette vector u equals a column matrix of entries u1, u2 and u3. To transform that kette vector into a bra vector, we take the complex conjugate of the coefficients of the basis vectors. So now bra vector u equals a row matrix with entries equal to u1 star, u2 star and u3 star. If you do not know how to take a complex conjugate of a complex number, then please check out my previous video. This notation of vectors in quantum mechanics was the idea of the British physicist Paul Dirac and is known as the bra-kette notation. The left side, the row vector, is the bra and the right side, the column vector, is the kette. We use this notation to write the inner product between two vectors, say psi and phi. Well, inner product is the quantum mechanical analog of the scalar product of three vectors. But what is this inner product thing? Say there are two column vectors, psi equals column matrix of entries equal to a1, a2 and a3, and phi equals a column matrix of entries equal to b1, b2 and b3. Then the inner product of psi with phi will be a1 star b1 plus a2 star b2 plus a3 star b3. Now in quantum mechanics, you cannot write a wave function as a combination of any arbitrary basis vectors. In quantum mechanics, when we write a wave function as a combination of say n number of basis vectors, then each of those basis vectors correspond to a possible outcome of a particular measurement, as a quantum system is in a superposition of all possible states at once before it is measured. And you also cannot write the coefficients of basis vectors arbitrarily. For our convenience, let's take a quantum system whose wave function is a combination of two possible outcomes for a certain measurement, say psi equals a1x plus a2y. Then the probability of getting the first outcome is square modulus of the inner product of x with psi, which is equal to a1 times a1 star, which is equal to square modulus of a1. And as the total probability of getting any one of the two possible outcomes is always 1, therefore the inner product of the wave function with itself must be equal to 1. And this is how the coefficients of the basis vectors are determined. Now the point to note here that the inner product of the wave function with itself is equal to 1. Then the length of the wave function in Hilbert space must be equal to 1. So all wave functions are of unit length. With that being said, that's all for today. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my future videos. Feel free to write in the comment section below. See you in my next video.